Congratulations to you guys, inshallah. It's excited for you. Inshallah will begin momentarily. The stipulations. Put this down here. Begin here. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على رسوله الكريم وعلى أهل بيت الطيبين الطاهرين أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. My dear respected guests, family members, bride and groom, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Congratulations to the respected bride and groom, and congratulations to the family. As is the Islamic tradition and custom, a few words of the khutbah of the nikah, and then the procedures will follow with the dua and the recitation of the respective words of the nikah. Having said that, a few words of wisdom for the bride and the groom, in particular the groom. Having said that, it's a reminder for everyone. We're going to be having a conversation between me and him, which is also a reminder to everyone else. Having said that, I should give you a caveat that Islam highly recommends marriage. It's something that is highly recommended, as well as it's not just a matrimony, it's actually a spiritual journey that two individuals come together in. The caveat is that I've been married now 8 years and I still haven't figured all this out, so I don't know everything, but a few words of wisdom for both of us and everyone else here who may be listening. From the Islamic perspective, as with other Abrahamic faiths, God has said very clearly that He has made this relationship as a form of taskeen, or a form of tranquility between husband and wife. And it's a moment for us to realize that the mercy of God is reflected in the relationship between husband and wife, or at least it's supposed to be that way. And Allah gives the example of creating in pairs, and that's a reminder for all of us therein. But having said that, I've been doing this for a few years now, and you learn some things along the road. And one of the things that people always say to me is, they say, you know, Sayyid or Doctor or whatever they call me, they'll say, you always talk about this verse of the Quran and it says about tranquility, but I don't feel the tranquility in life. How do I get that tranquility? And a few words of wisdom for the road. The first thing that I would mention is gratitude. If you look at this, you'll find that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah 31, Surah Luqman, He tells us about a conversation between Luqman and his son, and He says, look, the first element is to be grateful to God, and in that gratefulness we are able to see the beauty of the relationships that we have. Having said that, when you come to relationships between husbands and wives, for those who are planning to get married or on that road, one of the things that's really important to keep in mind is what to do and what not to do. So let's start with what one should not do first. And one of the things that you should not do first is understand that there's 4 horsemen of doom, as researchers have mentioned, such as Dr. John Gottman. And he says that these are things that you want to stay away from in a relationship. He says number 1 is you want to stay away from criticism. Criticism is, you know, highlighting points about the other person and saying that they didn't do something not because they forgot, but because, you know, they're a bad person or something like that, God forbid. The second example of this is that one should stay away from something called stonewalling. Stonewalling is, if I can give you the example of saying, we're not going to discuss it. An example of this is a guy comes and says, "Keh diya, bas keh diya." I said it, they were not going to discuss it. This is called stonewalling. Stonewalling is another element that you should refrain from, that you're not going to address the issue. The third element is called defensiveness. Now defensiveness, you may be right and say, you may have a reason to be right, and people say this all the time, but the other party hears it as, I'm right and you're wrong. And that never goes off well. So defensiveness is something that in our relationships we need to stay away from. The fourth element of the equation is something called contempt. And contempt is very dangerous, because contempt is where I look at my spouse from a superior plane. So I think I'm above and they're below. And that's very, very dangerous. So you want to stay away from those. So what do you do? One of the things that you want to do is to show kindness and generosity. Generosity doesn't only mean from the wallet perspective, generosity also means in terms of time. And that's where it's really important to know the other person's love language or language of affection. That is, are they someone who appreciates words of kindness? Do they appreciate actions, gifts, touch, what time? Everyone has a different one, so it's important to understand that. Just coming to a few points, bringing all of these things together, there's a lot of wisdom in understanding the importance of relationships and how important it is to discuss things in an open and safe way. And so, you know, Google does a lot of research. My brother-in-law works at Google, and they try to figure out how do you get somebody to do effective work in their job. And you may say, what does that have to do with marriage? In marriage, we found that people have something called a honeymoon period. You know, it can be 6 or 9. For the bride and groom, hopefully it's 6 to 9 decades, inshallah. But for other people, it could be 6 to 9 months. And they found that in jobs and in relationships, there's a beautiful moment and a 6 to 9 month period, which is great, and then after that, productivity in jobs goes down. And so they found, well, how do you keep that going in the long run? And they said one simple thing can be very effective, and that is to make a list at the beginning of the day of 3 things that you're grateful for in the case of a job, but in the case of a relationship, why are you grateful for that relationship? So that's extremely important in understanding and being able to develop a strong relationship so that we have that tranquility that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned in the Quran, has invited us towards. Another thing that I'll just mention very quickly in passing so that we can get to the crux of this, and a reminder for all, because I want people to have very harmonious relationships wherever I'm going. It's something that I'm passionate about, but we don't often teach these things, so it's important to have a discussion. There's a poet who said a line, and I think it's very powerful for us to recognize and reflect on this, and he encapsulated a lot of history in it, and a lot of, from the beginning of mankind to the end. And it's, the poet's name is John. I usually translate it, but he says, "Ek hi hadisa to hai aur wo ye, ek hi hadisa to hai aur wo ye, baat nahi kahi gayi, baat nahi suni gayi." He said there's only one calamity in the history of humanity. That is, what needed to be said wasn't said, and what needed to be heard wasn't heard. And oftentimes we as individuals, as human beings, have selective hearing, and we don't listen to the whole equation. So, of course, this bride and groom, alhamdulillah, inshallah, will not have this problem. But as human beings, it's so important to be grateful to God Almighty about our relationships, the love, the compassion that He has given us the opportunity to have with one another, and also appreciate each other on the pursuit of God and the spiritual journey. Having said that, I wish them the best in this world and in the hereafter, and I wish their families tremendous joy, and their future lives tremendous joy in this world and in the next. With that, inshallah, we'll proceed with the nikah ceremony, and then we'll inshallah break for the family festivities and whatever is planned, inshallah. Having said that, I will be acting on behalf of the bride and groom, or in particular the bride, as an agent, as an attorney, so to speak, from the Islamic perspective at least, and inshallah the groom will be accepting on his own behalf. Having said that, inshallah, we'll begin with a short dua, followed by the recitation of the ceremony. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين فاتر السماوات والأرضين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم وعلى أهل بيت الطيبين الطاهرين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي خلق آدم من صلصال كالفخار وخلق الزوجة حواء جليل المقدار فتناكح وتناسلا خلقا كثيرا من عبيد وأحرار وتوالد الإنثى والذكر والحمد لله الذي أمرنا بالنكاح والرغبة. وقال سيد المرسلين وخاتم النبيين حبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا أبي القاسم محمد تناكهوا تناسلوا تكثروا فإني أبايع بكم الأمم يوم القيامة ولو بالسط. وقال صلى الله عليه وآله أيضا النكاح من سنتي فمن رغب عن سنتي فليس مني. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Having said that, inshallah, I understand that the mahr has been decided amongst the bride and groom. Having said that, I will take permission from the bride to act as her agent. Do I have your permission to act as your agent, sister, on behalf of yourself in this ceremony? Inshallah, yes. Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. We can do this, inshallah, as I spoke to the groom. I'll speak in English as well as in Arabic so people are understanding what's being said. I will be saying in Arabic, I, as the bride's wakil or representative, give in marriage the bride to you on the known fixed mahar, which is, of course, in Islam, it goes from the bride to the groom, and the groom will be saying qabiltu, which he accepts, inshallah, and then they will be married. We'll do it a few times for tatmain al-qulub, for tranquility of the heart, and inshallah we'll proceed. So this is Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I, as the bride's wakil or representative, give in marriage the bride to you on the known fixed mahar or dowry. Do you accept? You accept, okay. Very good. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أنكحت موكلتي على الصداق المعين المعلوم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أنكحت موكلتي على الصداق المعين المعلوم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أنكحت موكلتي على الصداق المعين المعلوم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم ألف بينهما كما ألفت بين آدم وهواء. اللهم ألف بينهما كما ألفت بين إبراهيم وسارة. اللهم ألف بينهما كما ألفت بين محمد المصطفى وخديجة الكبرى. اللهم ألف بينهما كما ألفت بين علي المرتضى وفاطمة الزهراء. اللهم ارزقه حياة طيبة وأولاده الصالحة برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. With that, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Congratulations to the bride and groom, and may you have the best of God's blessings, Allah's blessings in this world and in the next. Congratulations. Congratulations.
losing what I found. If all the fallen pieces hit the ground, I see it in your eyes, my lover and my bride. Our love's a steady tide. A story speaks and silences my doubt. The wind may blow, but he's built this house. Your voice so soft and strong, my husband all alone. Our love's a steady song. And I lay down everything, every part of me, I'm yours. Oh, through everything, here we stand, hand in hand, I'm yours. I've waited for a love that outlast time, praying for a soul that betters than mine. I knew it from the start, together not apart. Our love's a steady heart. And I lay down everything, every part of me, I'm yours. Oh, through everything, here we stand, hand in hand, I'm yours. And I lay down everything, every part of me, I'm yours. Oh, through everything, here we stand, hand in hand, I'm yours. And I lay down everything,